Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going beneath the surface, looking at the digital world we all spend so much time in. Because sometimes, hidden beneath all that information and connection, there are some truly unsettling secrets, things that are genuinely disturbing. So our mission, if you will, is to explore 3 of these unsettling discoveries. They're all drawn from, well, some pretty compelling online findings. We want to navigate these stories not just for the shock value, but to maybe pull out some deeper insights about human nature, digital ethics, those kinds of enduring mysteries. Okay, let's start with a really tragic one. It blends that glossy influencer world with a, frankly, heartbreaking reality. The story of little Kitty. Her real name was Lua Meyer. But online, on Douyin, that's like China's TikTok. Huge platform. She was Little Kitty. 25 years old, fashion, beauty, live streamer. Had hundreds of thousands of followers, over 670,000. And to them, she seemed to be living the dream. Charming, vibrant content.
Yeah, and that's often the case, isn't it? The online persona can be so different from reality. Little Kitty, despite that bubbly image she projected, she was actually struggling deeply with clinical depression off camera, that happy influencer. It seems it was a mask, carefully crafted to hide this profound inner turmoil. Some fans apparently even noticed things, worrying marks on her wrists and some photos, little hints of the pain she was dealing with.
Wow. And then in 2019, she started dating someone, Xiao Ruolin. He was into basketball, had a much smaller online thing going on. She actually became his mentor, put a lot of energy into helping him grow his following, teaching him content creation, promoting him constantly.
And it worked. I mean, his follower count exploded, over 2 million followers eventually. He actually became bigger than her online.
Right, eclipsing her own success.
But this is where it takes a really dark turn. You look at the power dynamics amplified by social media. It gets ugly. In March 2021, right after he hit that big milestone, Ruolin just publicly attacked her online. Accused her of being unstable, manipulative, said she faked stars for attention, cheated on him, even questioned if their unborn child was his.
That's brutal, a public attack like that.
Exactly, a devastating betrayal. Instead of handling things privately, he used the platform to, try and destroy her reputation. Just awful.
So how did Kitty respond?
Well, apparently, incredibly measured. Powerful even. She countered every single claim publicly, shared details of his infidelities with screenshots, provided medical records proving her depression, that the scars were real, said she'd been faithful.
And the paternity thing.
She stated the child was his, offered a paternity test. He refused. She ended up terminating the pregnancy after all that.
Wow.
And crucially, her real-world friends, they all spoke out, defending her. Him, no one defended him publicly. That asymmetry is really telling, isn't it? She had evidence, dignity. His accusations seem baseless, just designed to hurt her. And the harassment she must have faced from his fans, online mobs, can be relentless. It clearly took a huge toll on her mental state, which was already fragile.
So, after some months, she tried to move on. Started a new relationship with a guy named Lee. But this turned out even worse, somehow.
How so?
Well, he apparently used her bank account like it was his own. Scammed her financially, tricked her into buying a house, but put it in his name. But then, it got truly horrific. One of her friends claims later that in October 2021, Lee drugged her.
Oh, no.
Waited for her to fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then invited his friends over. The claim was she was assaulted horrifically. Then Lee just disappeared.
That's beyond comprehension. Just one nightmare after another for her.
Exactly. And that leads us to October 14, 2021. Little Kitty starts a live stream, her last one. Viewers knew right away something was wrong. She looked burnt out, exhausted. Her voice was quiet, solemn. She said, "This will likely be my last video." Then she held up a bottle. Dark brown liquid.
Don't tell me.
Pesticide. She said it was pesticide, and she was going to drink it. On the live stream.
Oh my God, and people were watching this live? Thousands.
Thousands, yeah. Some were pleading with her, telling her not to do it, but others, hundreds apparently, were egging her on.
No, seriously.
Telling her to just go ahead and do it. She even read some of those comments out loud.
That's just pure evil, the anonymity of the internet allowing for that level of cruelty.
And apparently, instead of making her sadder, those comments, they seem to fuel her resolve, make her more determined.
How utterly twisted.
She just calmly raised the bottle, thanked her viewers, and drank it, all in one go. Her last words on the stream were apparently, "Wow, that tasted awful." Then it just ended, abruptly.
I don't even know what to say. That's just harrowing.
The next day, the news broke. She had passed away. She actually called China's emergency number 120 after the stream ended. An ambulance got there quickly. She was in Shandong province. But the pesticide, the damage to her internal organs was too severe. She died during treatment.
It's just tragic. Absolutely tragic.
But the horror wasn't over. Her family arranged for cremation, but that led to, well, another nightmare involving something called ghost marriages, yin marriages.
Ah, yes. Ghost marriages. They're technically outlawed in China, but the practice persists, particularly in some rural areas. It's rooted in some really deep-seated beliefs and traditions. Superstitions, mostly.
Like what?
Well, some believe an unmarried deceased person is sort of doomed in the afterlife and might bring bad luck to living relatives. So they arrange a marriage post-mortem. Other reasons, too. Traditional families might see it as shameful to have an unmarried daughter, even in death. Or sometimes there are rules, like a younger brother shouldn't marry before an older deceased sibling. A ghost marriage fixes that.
So it's still a thing, despite being illegal.
Yeah, it speaks to how powerful these old beliefs can be. And it's created something truly disturbing. A black market.
A black market for corpses.
Exactly, especially female corpses, because of China's population imbalance from the one-child policy era. They're valuable, particularly in regions like Shandong, where Kitty died. Prices can be high, like $7,000 to $10,000 US dollars.
It's horrifying.
It gets worse. This isn't just occasional opportunism. It can be quite organized. You have people, entrepreneurs, digging up graves, looking for bodies to sell. It's led some wealthy families to bury loved ones in concrete coffins, even install CCTV at the grave sites.
Stop grave robbers.
Yes. And there are even documented cases, horrifyingly, of gangs murdering women specifically to sell their bodies as ghost brides. There's this awful saying, the fresher the bride, the higher the price.
Oh, God.
They even have tiers. Fresh ones, negotiations might start minutes after death, sometimes even while the person is still alive, apparently. Then wet bodies, weeks or months old. And the lowest tier, grimly called dried meat.
This is unbelievable.
Even ashes aren't safe. Human ashes get traded on this market. It's the complete commodification of human remains.
So a little kitty, young, beautiful, unmarried. Her ashes would have been valuable on this market as a fresh one.
Extremely valuable, yes. But her parents were modern, educated. They would never agree to sell her ashes for a ghost marriage.
So what happened? This is just unthinkable. 3 funeral home staff members. Their surnames were Xiao, Shang, and Li. They stole her actual ashes.
They stole them from the funeral home.
Yes. Secretly replaced them with some other powder. They had a deal lined up, apparently for about $1,000, but it fell through. Then they found another potential buyer, but that buyer actually reported them to the police.
Thank goodness for that buyer. But the fact that funeral home staff would even consider it.
And get this, the reported response from the wife of one of the men caught. What's the problem? It's not a big deal.
Wow. That casual acceptance, it just shows how normalized this grotesque market is in some circles. Utter disregard for the dead, for the grieving family.
Thankfully, Kitty's real ashes were recovered and returned to her family. Her story did spark a lot of debate online about whether those who egged her on could face legal consequences.
Did anything come of that?
Not really. A case against one specific user seemed to go nowhere. And the fate of those 3 men who tried to sell her ashes, well, it's unknown, at least from the English sources available.
What an absolutely devastating story on every level.
It really is. Okay, let's shift gears slightly. From real-life horror amplified online to some disturbing things hidden within the digital worlds we create. Video games. Consider Half-Life 2. Legendary game, groundbreaking for 2004. Its original vision was apparently much darker, much grittier.
Quite a classic.
And if you've played it, you've definitely seen Corpse1.mdl. It's this 3D model of a burnt corpse used all over the game as environmental storytelling. Suggests, terrible things happen.
Yeah, I remember that model is pretty creepy. I always felt a bit off.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
That feeling that is maybe too realistic.
Uh-oh. What's the story?
Online sleuths eventually figured it out. The facial texture wasn't just made up by an artist. It was taken from a real photograph.
A real photo of what?
A close-up of a man's completely burnt face from a medical textbook.
Oh, wow. Seriously. So players are looking at a real deceased person's injuries.
Pretty much. The game artist just duplicated his empty eye socket to make the model look right in 3D.
That raises some pretty big ethical questions, doesn't it? Using real human suffering, presumably without consent, as just a texture map in a game.
Absolutely. And the photo itself offered no clue about who the man was or how he got those injuries. What made it even weirder was that his face was totally burned, but his neck, chest, even his hair looked undamaged. Led to lots of speculation online.
Like what kind of speculation?
dark stuff, maybe intentional burning, like a mafia hit with a blowtorch, that kind of...
Grim, though there's possibly a less sinister, though still unsettling explanation, right?
Yeah, probably more likely his remains were donated to science.
And maybe a medical professional intentionally burned the face as a teaching example for medical students.
It's exactly. Still disturbing, but makes a bit more sense contextually. But then that image somehow ended up in a texture library or was scanned from the book.
Probably without permission from the publisher, and definitely without consent from the man or his family.
So millions of players have interacted with this image of real trauma, completely unaware of its origin.
It's a stark reminder, isn't it, about where digital assets sometimes come from, that hidden layer beneath the pixels.
And this isn't unique to Half-Life 2, is it? Other games have used morbid real-world stuff.
No, not at all. BioShock, for example, the splicer enemies. Their appearances were apparently based on photos of World War I soldiers who'd undergone early, often disfiguring, facial reconstructive surgery.
Wow.
And the developers for Mortal Kombat 11, they reportedly studied photos and videos of, well, obliterated bodies for research when designing the fatalities. One staff member supposedly ended up needing therapy because of it.
That's intense. Did Valve, the Half-Life developers, learn from the corpse model thing?
It seems like maybe they did. For Left 4 Dead 2, their later zombie game, the team apparently had what they called a nightmare folder, full of really stomach-churning, real images they'd collected for zombie design inspiration.
Oh boy.
But they ultimately decided not to use them, found it gratuitous, maybe unnecessary. They based the final zombie designs on things like housing insulation and potato skins instead.
Housing insulation. Okay, that's better, I guess.
Definitely less ethically fraught, yeah.
Interestingly, there's another face in Half-Life 2 with a kind of sad, real-world backstory. Eli Vance.
Oh, the character Eli Vance. What's the story there?
Well, the graphic designer, Randy Linden, apparently found the facial model on the street. A homeless man holding a looking for work sign.
Really?
Yeah. He asked the man to come back to the Valve studio, scanned his face, gave him a few dollars for his time.
But they never got his name. Never credited him.
Apparently not. Never took his name, no credit in the game or anywhere else.
So this man's face is incredibly famous in the gaming world, seen by millions.
Yeah.
But he's anonymous, unknown.
Exactly. Makes you wonder if he ever even knew his face was in one of the most legendary games ever made.
Yeah. You just hope he's okay wherever he is. Hope he found the work he was looking for. It really highlights that casual commodification of identity, doesn't it?
It does. Okay, one more story for this deep dive. Moving from unsettling images to a chilling confession found in the depths of an online forum. We're looking at Reddit. Specifically confessions where people anonymously share secrets.
Right, I know the subreddit gets some pretty intense stuff.
Well, about 10 months ago, a post popped up that really stood out. Anonymous user, the title was something like, "I know the person who possibly committed an unsolved double murder."
Ooh, okay, that's a heavy confession.
Yeah. The user claimed their neighbor, a retired Delta Force guy who was dying of cancer, had confessed to them.
A deathbed confession, basically. What did he confess?
The neighbor claimed that back when he was in high school, he found his girlfriend cheating on him. He went to the car they were in, shot the girlfriend in the head with a .22 caliber gun, then shot the guy she was with in the chest.
In the chest, why?
The confession claimed he shot the guy in the chest specifically so he wouldn't die quickly. Said he mocked the guy as he bled out.
That's incredibly cold and cruel. Just horrific detail.
And the neighbor apparently even showed the Reddit user items he claimed he took from the car that night. Souvenirs, basically.
Okay, that's more than just talk. Physical items.
Exactly. The user initially thought it was, quote, absolute bull, even though they said the neighbor was usually honest. But then about 2 weeks after the confession, the user was watching one of those unsolved crime documentaries on YouTube. Right. And they saw a case that matched everything they said, lined up to a T, including the specific items reported missing from the crime scene, the same items the neighbor had shown them.
Oh my God, that validation must have been horrifying.
Completely. Imagine that chilling realization. Suddenly the crazy story seems terrifyingly real.
So what did the user do? It's a massive dilemma, right? Why did the neighbor confess? Why did he have the evidence?
And the user mentioned the neighbor had always been good to them, paid them for odd jobs, helped them out. So they felt really conflicted about going to the police.
That makes sense. The burden of that secret, knowing the person who might have done this horrific thing, was also someone kind to you. It's complex.
Unsurprisingly, the Reddit thread blew up. Questions, demands for more info. The original poster eventually deleted the whole thing. Maybe they got overwhelmed,
Probably. Reddit sleuths can be intense.
but they didn't give up. Another user, P420, made a new post connecting the dots. They identified the likely case.
Which case was it?
The West Side Park murders. Happened in Muncie, Indiana, back in September 1985.
Okay, an old cold case.
Yeah. Victims were Kimberly Dow and Ethan Dixon, found shot in Ethan's Volkswagen, engine still running. Several items were missing from the scene.
Just like the confession said.
Exactly. Witnesses back then reported seeing 3 people leaving the park. A sketch was made of one suspect, but the case went cold. For decades.
So did Reddit actually help solve it? What happened next?
Well, the community response was pretty incredible. Other users apparently started contacting the Muncie Police Department. P420, the user who identified the case, said they contacted the FBI.
Wow. Did law enforcement follow up? Any updates?
As far as the source material goes, no official updates from law enforcement have been announced. So the authenticity of that original Reddit confession, it's still uncertain.
So it could still be a hoax, a really elaborate, tasteless hoax.
It could be. Or it could be a genuine confession leaked onto the internet. The vagueness in the original post might have even been strategic. Who knows?
It leaves you hanging, doesn't it? That possibility that a decades-old murder confession surfaced on Reddit.
It really does. As the source pointed out, the real killer, whoever it was, has to have been someone's neighbor. Chilling thought. Okay, so let's try to unpack some of this. We've covered some seriously unsettling ground today. From Little Kitty's tragic story, influencer exploitation, online cruelty, that horrifying ghost marriage black market.
Right. Then the hidden origins of things in video games. That Half-Life corpse model, the Eli Vance face. Using real people, real trauma, often without credit or consent.
And finally, that potential cold case confession bubbling up from the anonymous depths of Reddit. It really shows the internet isn't just, cat videos and social media. It's this vast space reflecting, well, everything about us.
Yeah.
Including the really dark, complex, unsettling parts of human experience.
Exactly. It forces you to confront uncomfortable truths about individuals, about society, about the ethics of what we create and consume online.
Yeah, these stories really highlight the responsibilities, don't they? For creators, for platforms, for us as users.
And the power of online communities, for good and sometimes for ill, like the web sleuths trying to help versus the people egging Little Kitty on. It also speaks to that ongoing search for truth, for justice, even when the details are macabre. People want answers, even for old cold cases.
It definitely leaves you thinking, what else is lurking out there? In those unexplored corners of the digital world.
That's the big question, isn't it? How much do we really know about the digital stuff we interact with every day? Its origins, the stories behind it.
And maybe what's our role when we stumble across something unsettling? As a witness, or maybe even as someone involved. Lots to consider.
Definitely food for thought.
Well, thank you for taking this pretty intense deep dive with us today. We really encourage you to keep exploring, keep questioning, keep learning. Until next time.